08081 008800. Do you think we need to be more understanding when dogs bite? Nick Freeman is a lawyer known as Mr. Loophole. Good morning to you, Nick.
Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning. So the Bungle story, I notice, certainly captured your imagination as well yesterday. You were suggesting that if Northamptonshire Police had not released Bungle, you were planning to take some kind of civil action against them.
I was. The story it lit a fuse with me. I mean, a 4-month-old pup is the equivalent of a 2.25-year-old human being. So one would like to think in our society that is under the age of criminal responsibility. Clearly not an age where a dog can form an intent. It was so obvious what the situation was. And okay, it's unfortunate that the officer got bitten, but puppies have razor-like teeth. You just have to use common sense in that situation, and thankfully common sense has prevailed. So that situation. The owners are responsible. They've got electric gates, and they need. It's invariably the owners who are responsible because they need to ensure that their dog is looked after, cared for, and they didn't. They let the dog out. It escaped. If you have electric gates, you obviously realise there's a time when that dog can get out. What would have happened if the dog had caused an accident? It could have caused a fatal accident. So people need to assume responsibility. But you can't blame the dog, and you certainly can't blame a terrified 4-month-old pup that's hiding under a lorry.
Even if the terrified 4-month-old pup causes the police officer to have to go to hospital, as I gather he did. He was bitten on the hand and the arm. Well,
probably for a tetanus jab. The puppy's teeth are like needles. Look, it's unfortunate that he got bitten, but I don't know how he put his arm under the lorry. I don't know how he tried to coax it out. But what the point I'm making is a 4-month-old puppy cannot form the intent that will be required for the Dangerous Dogs Act, which in itself is a complete mess. And if you want to talk about that, we can do. So it was an unfortunate incident. It shouldn't have happened. It was an accident. The owners are completely responsible and not the dog because they let their dog out when it shouldn't have escaped.
You have a dog, I know, because I've seen pictures of him.
I have a dog website, SaveTheStaffy.com.
Do you indeed?
I do, to change public perception.
If I was a postman and I came to your house and I was just doing my job, just going about my business, and your dog is in the garden, and as I come up your driveway, your dog, for some reason, takes a disliking to me and bites me on the leg. Do you think that I have the right to call the police and demand that your dog be taken away and destroyed?
No, I don't. But the situation doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen in the abstract like that. We have postmen, obviously, and the postman comes with biscuits for the dog, and most postmen carry biscuits for the dog. Most postmen know which dogs are dangerous. The whole situation needs to be reviewed so that this situation can never happen. The householders surely, again, need to be responsible so they know the post is being delivered every day, and if they think there is any possibility that their dog is going to attack somebody who's going around their lawful duties, such as a postman, a milk delivery person, they keep the dog inside. It's their responsibility, not the dog's. If you leave the dog out and it's guarding the property, then if it's a guard dog, then of course that will happen. It's not the dog's fault. It's the owner's fault.
So so going back to that scenario, then you would expect your dog to be left alone, but you would expect the police to take action against you, the owner.
I would expect the police to take action against the owner, as they're entitled to do, even though it's on private property. They're perfectly entitled to do that now under the current law.
And what is the best course of action to take against the owner?
From a postman's perspective?
Well, if I'm the postman who I'm just going about my business and I've been bitten by your dog, so I want to see something happen, what should the punishment be? If it's not removing your dog and destroying your dog, what should the punishment be?
Well, the police should first of all go and speak to the owner and assess the level of responsibility, the level of remorse. Is it going to happen again? Is it a one-off? Was it an accident? How did it happen? They need to investigate the scenario. I mean, I had a situation where not that long ago, where a lady had a Malmut, which is a very large husky-type dog, and it was on one of these retractable knees. And I knew what was going to happen. She had the dog under no control at all. And ironically, I was on your show 10 minutes later, and the dog went for me, and it went for my dog, and I held my dog up above my head, so the dog was actually trying to get my dog. Eventually I had to put it down, put my dog on the ground because I was going to get attacked, and it was very unpleasant. I phoned the police up. I asked the lady where she lived. She wouldn't tell me her address. I knew where she lived. The police were around there within half an hour, and their dog is now on the dangerous dogs register. And I felt very sorry for the dog. I know the dog. It's not the dog's fault. It was the owner who had no idea how to control the dog. She wasn't aware of what was going on around her, even though I'd shouted, make sure you've got your dog on a short lead because it's 2 male dogs. So this was the owner's responsibility, a dereliction of duty, not fit to have a dog. So invariably, every incident that I'm aware of, it's the owner who is responsible and not the dog. As your previous listener very, very eloquently said, you need to know your dog. You need to know, is your dog going to be difficult with other dogs? Is it going to be difficult with certain types of people? It's your responsibility.
One final question, though. There surely comes a point where it is perfectly reasonable to expect that the dog will be taken by the police and potentially destroyed. I mean, for example, we hear these stories of children in the household being mauled by the family dog, savagely attacked. Surely it is not okay in that case to leave the dog where it is in the house.
Well, absolutely not. But what are the owners doing? First of all, you never leave a dog alone with a child. The vast majority of attacks, I mean, there are 200,000 people each year bitten by dogs. 25% of those are children under 9. They're the most vulnerable. You would never leave a dog. But for me, one of the problems is related to poverty and austerity. You have these large dogs that have aggressive type tendencies in cooped-up surroundings. They're not exercised, they're not looked after properly, and it's a time bomb waiting to explode. It's the owners. They shouldn't be allowed to have the dogs. In my view, we would have a dog licensing system, and it will be regulated by the council, and you can't just go out and have a dog. You have to prove to the council that you're a fit person. There will be a nominal charge, and that, I think, would ensure that you have responsible owners having dogs that they are capable of looking after in an orderly fashion. At the moment, it's a free-for-all. The interesting thing is, Jonathan, by January of next year, the government should be reviewing the situation. There should be an independent review because the current legislation goes back 150 years. It's a complete mess, and it needs to be taken control of. And in my view, it's not a breed-specific situation. It's a situation where we need to look at the right type of people having the right type of dog.
Good to talk to you, Nick. Thank you for your time. Nick Freeman is the lawyer known as Mr. Loophole. Well, do you think we do need to be more understanding when dogs bite?
Call Jonathan Vernon Smith.